Hey there,
Hello,
beer tubers.
Nick.
Hi, Greg, and welcome back to Beer Analysis 101 with your host. Come on, Greg. You're always interrupting me. You're the host,
We
right?
got your host, Chris Lezak, host of Off the 10th and Boat Orgy Reviews. He's here with us tonight to introduce the beer.
What the fuck?
Yeah, Chris, why don't you introduce the beer?
What are we talking about? What, this beer? This
Yes.
one? Is
Yes,
this backwards
we're-
for you? Oh, it is too.
No,
Son of a
kind of
bitch.
is. We're
Hold on.
doing Lost Crafts Neapolitan Ice Cream Stout.
Let's
Ooh.
wait, I can switch it. I can do it.
I can do it.
I can do
I can
Oh,
do it.
there
There
we
you go.
Lost Craft.
There you go.
That's what we're doing. We're doing this beer.
All
This is a. Do you want me to describe it, or is that you?
Well, I got the
I don't
history
even know.
here, but you know what? I'm going to get down to the introductions here and introduce who we have with us today, starting with Mr. Greg. Hi, Greg.
Yes, it's me. I'm here. And look, everyone, the painting that everyone loves.
The painting you've passed out here in front of about 100 times.
Holy
There it
fuck.
is. Kind of looks smaller here, doesn't it? It's kind of like.
It does because it's not right directly above your head on a couch.
Yeah. Well, yeah, ordinarily it looks like it takes
you're
up my whole.
videoing from an iPad or something.
Well, I'm not.
But-
It's the same. Same laptop I was using at the condo, but it was just right behind me, and I was closer. And anyway, so it actually isn't weird because it actually looks much bigger in person than it does on the camera. So that's kind of odd. But anyways, yeah, I'm here with the camera, so everyone. Sorry, here with the painting. Camera's the same camera. Everyone can get excited. And I am here. I'm doing well tonight. I'm actually quite excited for this beer because this is one of those beers that is going to go. I just don't see this beer being a 7 out of 10. I feel it's going to be a 10 out of 10 or like a 2 out of 10. It's not going to be in between. So, and I have no clue which way it's going to go because on one hand, it could be amazing. On the other hand, it probably won't be. So,
Oh my god!
You never know.
I'm. These are the kind of beers I look forward to. The ones that I have absolutely no idea what
It's
to
like spin the wheel, see if you land on red or black.
It's like going to an orgy with a blindfold.
Spin the wheel, see if you land on white,
Well, I mean,
brown, or.
I feel like
Probably
you'd
less-
prefer to go to an orgy with a blindfold. Then you really don't
be
give a fuck.
less disappointed. I mean,
Sometimes
unless
it's
you
kind
come
of
home
like,
with warts on your dick or something, you know.
wow,
That's
Nick,
true.
come
Yeah,
on, Nick,
all right.
you're supposed to wrap it up. Come on.
Jesus. All right. So speaking of wrapping it up, hey Chris. Hi Chris, how you doing tonight?
Wrapping it up. I'm good. I am off this week. I worked,
Off the 10th?
I worked two 12-hour shifts over the weekend. They gave me the whole week off and with pay, so we're good. So I decided to join you guys for this beer, and yeah,
Yay.
that's
Woo.
my story.
Yeah.
Grim.
Yeah.
Do it.
Tonight. All right. Also have Lady Lee here tonight with us.
Hello.
Hi Lee. How you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling better, but I am still voiceless. So if anyone sees my voice, please let me know.
We can still hear you. All right. So
I
Probably
can't.
that Russell fella stole it. You rustled it right from you.
He rustled it right in your mouth. Okay, all right. That was dumb. All right.
Wow.
Let's
Nick, wow.
yeah.
Nice.
Jesus. All right. So yeah, let's get down to the beer we have tonight, which is Lost Crafts Neapolitan Ice Cream Stout, which Lost Craft, the story of Lost Craft, they started in 2015 when founder Sheehan De Silva left his career in finance to catch the wave of craft breweries that opened up in Toronto in around the mid 2010s. That big craft beer boom that they had, he ended up jumping the train. First, he started brewing on contract space at Cool Beer in Etobicoke. Hi, Greg. Lost Craft released their first beer, Revive Ale Kolsch, to local taps around Toronto in November of 2015. In 2017, De Silva teamed up with brewmaster Jamie Mystery, who previously worked at Cool Beer and Amsterdam Brewing up until I think 2013. I don't know, I read his LinkedIn, and moved production to a newly opened Common Good Brewing in Scarborough, where the brand began to expand as well as acquire other small startups. In February 2017, Lost Craft acquired Sextant Brewing, not Sexton Brewing, Sextant.
No, Sexton
Like
Brewing
the-
Co.
Like the little thing they used on ships for plotting degrees. Sexton Brewing renaming their Why So Serious APA to just Lost Craft Serious. And in late 2018, they acquired Pint Pursuits Brewing, renaming their The Answers Hell's Lager to just Lost Craft Diversity Lager. Also, in 2018, Lost Craft teamed up with Province Brands of Canada to produce a line of cannabis-infused beers celebrating Canada's legalization of marijuana. So, too bad Carrie's not here to celebrate in that one. Most recently, Lost Craft announced a merger with High Park Brewery in October of 2021, with Lost Craft's production moving to the High Park facility in Toronto's West End. So now Lost Craft is back in Toronto. Other beers from Lost Craft include, of course, their Revive Ale Kolsch, Sirius IPA, Diversity Lager, Crimson Red Ale, Fresh Cucumber Mint Radler, Skyline Brute IPA, Summer Session Pills, and they also had some interesting stuff on their web store. They had a Coffee Pale Ale, which is a collaboration with Omnia Coffee Roasters, and must be a roaster around Toronto. They had a barrel-aged dark bread ale, which looked kind of cool. And most recently, they released a Backlike 86 red lager in honor of Canada's World Cup team. So you're into that foosball thing right now, that thing that's going in Qatar. You want a Qatar solo? Let's not talk about Qatar. All right, so Neapolitan Ice Cream Stout is a 6% ABV, 18 IBU flavored milk stout brewed with chocolate, strawberry, vanilla, and lactose. First released in 2019. So it's surprising that Dan's not here tonight to enjoy a lactose beer. Like usually when you light up the lactose signal, it's like Batman to Gotham shit, just like lactose. He's not even in the chat. Come on, Dan. Pick up the slack. Okay, so
his wife won't let him.
All right, let's circle around the crowd here, starting with Mr. Greg, who showed up first tonight for amazing reason. I have no idea. What's your history with?
Got excited.
Well, I knew Chris was going to be here and Lee was going to be here, and damn it, I was going to come first.
Here
we go.
You come first.
Here's my history, Nick. You're witnessing history.
Now, have you had anything? You must have had other beers from Lost Craft.
So I have. A bunch of their regular stuff is the LCBO. I didn't look it up, but I've had kind of their regular. I think they have a pale ale, a lager, whatever. So actually, my friend, I will not reveal her name. Not that she watches this show, but I'll not reveal her name. But she's a ex-coworker of mine, and I've wanted to have sex with her many times. I never have. So there you. No, not her. It's a different person. But anyways, I mean, how many people do I want to have sex with? Way too many, and none of them want to have sex with me.
That's just how you remember them. You know, like, I wanted to have sex with you.
Yep.
She's like, oh, great. I just wanted to go to lunch.
It's the only reason why he remembers me.
I also wanted to eat. I also wanted to eat out too. I mean, come on, like. But anyways,
Jesus.
Lady Lee's that girl in the chat that doesn't want to have sex with me, and Chris is the guy in the boat that doesn't want to have sex with me. And Nick as well. Nick, we won't talk because Nick has been to my place, so things have happened.
It's true.
No.
Anyways, enough about people that want to have sex with me because we'll be here for about 8 billion hours because that's how many people there are on this earth that don't want to have sex.
Zero for everybody in the chat except for Carrie's fingers.
Oh, Dan's here now in the chat. Hi, Dan.
Oh, Carrie. Well,
hey, Diane.
Okay, that's true. That's traumatic for me. I don't bring that up, even though I bring it up all the time because it's kind of fucking hilarious. So I've had their stuff. Anyways, the reason I brought up my friend is because she's friends with the guy who owns the place. And I was invited a few years back, but for whatever reason I couldn't. They were doing one of their like launch parties when they first really started. It was like they were launching like their second beer or something. I didn't go. I couldn't for whatever reason. I kind of wish I did. But she's friends with the guy who owns the place. It's a fairly, it's Toronto run and all that. And they're they must have pretty good connections because, they're fairly new brewery and they have really good LCBO coverage, and that's not always easy to get. So I don't know who they know or how much money they have or what the deal is with that. But obviously they seem to be doing pretty well for themselves. And, so far, to me, their beers are, and not talking about this one at all, but their beers in general to me are very middle of the road. They're very safe. They're fine. I don't think I've had one that was bad from them. But I don't really had one that was really all that good either. They're just kind of like, yeah, it is what it is. It's there. It's wet.
It's there. It's wet.
It's there. It's wet. That's my motto.
That's like my motto.
Just like on a boat.
Jesus, no, as long as it's wet, it's my motto.
I'm there. I'm wet.
Yep.
Wow. Wow, she
Wow.
went there.
You gotta
Hey,
enjoy the
Greg,
simple
I
things.
love how Greg went quiet.
Look, I have a Jaws shirt on. It's kind of cool.
What, are you looking for revenge?
Technically, there's a naked woman on it, Nick. So you've got nudity on your channel now. You're gonna be
Ooh.
banned.
All right, Greg.
Oh,
All right, so let's go. All right, Chris, follow
All right.
that up.
All right, I'll try. 3 years ago, while I was working at the casino bartending, the said owner and person he was accompanied with came up to the bar. Long story short, they wanted to get their beer on tap at the casino. And I said, well, they asked, who do I get in contact with? I said, give me your card. Gave him his card. We had a little chat. I said, I'll get this to the person that it will get in contact with you to get your beers onto the taps at the casino. They never actually went on tap in the casino, but we had a little chat. Told them I had a YouTube channel. Very shortly after, I received the package from these guys, and I reviewed it. I did the beer unboxing on my channel 3 years ago, and then I reviewed those beers that I got from them, and one of them I guessed correctly what it was, and then I received a Instagram message from the guys at Lost Craft, and they said you nailed it. You nailed exactly what this beer is. It was totally blind. It was awesome, and that was their Eclipse. That was their Eclipse hazy IPA, which is still, I believe, available in the LCBO. And then, yeah, so we had a good following back and forth on Instagram and stuff like that, and then they became one of those. Unfortunately, became one of those breweries that decided to, you know what, fuck the little guy. We're going to stop unfollowing the people that give us a little bit of promotion. So I recently checked. I want to say about 6 months ago, I checked, and I always check who's following and see what's going on with the breweries and stuff like that. And nevertheless, they stopped following me. So I said, fuck them. I'm done with these guys. And that was it. My favorite beer from these guys was it still is probably the Crimson Red in Port Dalhousie in St. Catharines. There's a place called Kitten Clover, and their beer's on tap there, and I usually get a pint of that when I'm there. Yeah, and history with this beer, when was it? 9 months ago, I did a review on this one. And this was before I was giving my scores. So, yeah, I did that, and that's it. So you can catch me on Off the 10. But not really doing any reviews right now, not for a year. And that's all. I'm out of breath. Bye.
Taking the year off. All right.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember you getting that package of beer from them. All right. All right. Thank you, Chris. Let's go over to Lady Lee. Lady Lee, what's your history with the brewery or beer or whatever?
I went to the LCBO and I bought this beer. And this beer ended up in my fridge, and I opened it and filled this glass. And that is my history. I would extend it longer, but Chris has me beat for a good history. So I was trying to think if I've had anything from Lost Craft, and I don't fucking know. I don't remember. I may have. So maybe. That is my answer.
All right. Thank you, Lady Lee. Good history nonetheless. All right. So for me, my history with this brewery is you know what? I think Chris is saying something about like they got good must have connections or something. Because Last Craft has been in New Brunswick in some capacity for a few years now. Like I'm pretty sure that I bought a can of Diversity, the Hell's Lager, like a year or two ago, thinking, "Hey, well, we're gonna do a beer analysis on this beer." Wasn't like a Hell's Lager, so it probably wasn't the most interesting beer for us to do on beer analysis. It was just kind of like, well, maybe we'll do that in the future. Eventually, the can was too old, so I just drank it. Like it wasn't a fresh can to begin with, thanks to the NB Liquor. But we have had some of their beers. Like we had their cucumber mint Radler that came out this summer. We've had I'm pretty sure that Sirius and Crimson have been here too as well. It's just that I like their labeling. I like how minimalist that labeling is on their cans. It's just not the first brewery that I've gravitated to when it comes to trying it. Because when you get like compared to like the latest beers from Collective Arts, like hazy IPA or some experimental flavored like the beer, and then a red ale next to it from Lost Craft. It's just not like, okay, that's cool, not the first one I'm going to grab. If I'm going to spending more money for a beer over at the end of liquor, but this caught my eye, and this is actually the second time having this. I had another can of this last week, and I figured, like, hey, this actually sounds like an awesome idea to do on Beer Analysis 101 if we can all get it, because that's pretty cool. An ice cream stout. You don't really see something like that very often, and that's kind of like a gimmick beer, a niche kind of beer from a brewery that usually specializes in just like ordinary, plain, safe styles. So it's kind of interesting to see. So yeah, like as far as beers from these guys, I'm pretty sure I've had maybe Revival and Diversity and maybe Daylight Session IPA, but that's it. Like it's not like the first brewery I'm gonna jump at. But you know what? I'll say my thoughts on this beer for the later part of this episode, of course. But I'm glad to try this. All right, so let's go with who we got in the comments, and of course we only have.
We have
got
tons of comments.
Hey, glad to read them.
Tons.
Okay, well, settle in, guys. There's a lot of comments here.
Let's do this.
All right.
So, Western Canadian reviewer, aka Dan, says, "I'm here now." And then he follows up that riveting comment with, before anyone says it, what's next week's beer? Exclamation mark, question mark, exclamation mark, question mark. It goes on a little bit further.
Something with lactose in it, maybe.
Question mark, exclamation mark. Just saying.
There's a lot going on there. And then Jamie from the basement says, "Oh, hi, Jamie, hashtag bad friend. How come you're not joining us?" And then Western Canadian beer reviewer, in a controversial statement, says, "Hi to you too."
Gasp.
Hold on. Sorry, there's a breaking comment. Cheesy taco bean stout is better than an ice cream stout, probably. I would kind of want to try that. I don't know where that would go. Maybe if Taco Bell.
I don't know if anybody's ever made a cheese IPA. That might be interesting.
Oh my god!
Agnes go by.
As long as it's got Gouda, baby.
She got a Gouda. It's a very Gouda beer.
Joe would be all over that.
Gouda, some Gorgonzola.
Some Gorgonzola. Wow, it's crazy.
Some of your more pungent cheeses.
It's crazy. These cheeses in these beers. Wow.
Jesus Christ. Jesus sliced.
Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ.
Wow.
All right.
Wow.
Guys, we have a very religious audience watching us. You don't want to blaspheme.
Get on that. Look at that next comment. Syndaham.
Get on.
I should have worn my Syndaham shirt, because are they still around, Jamie? Do you even know?
I really don't.
Fuck them. They never gave me a shirt.
They never gave us a good beer.
No, they didn't.
Well, I still have my shirt somewhere.
I mean, I still maintain it was the most memorable beer of that evening.
The fucking disgusting fucking
it
chili
beer.
It
was, because it was supposed to be a fucking Roche beer, and it ended up tasting like
gross beer.
Yes,
Roche beer, gross beer. Yeah, no, it wasn't gross. It wasn't gross. It tasted like
terrible.
It tasted like tomatoes and cheese. It was just like
it tasted like chili, and you don't expect that in a beer at all.
Yeah, if they marketed it as a chili beer, I probably would have been more interested. But I'm like, what the fuck am I drinking?
We had one good beer that I opened up from the package that they sent us that didn't explode like all the rest of you guys had. Well, other guys had their beers that exploded. Carrie and Chad, I think their beers exploded. Mine didn't, and one wasn't bad. But other than that, they're gone now. See you later.
I mean, they struck me kind of as like a home brewing operation that just had labels.
I think that's probably what they were. They were kind of like, it was a home brewing operation they were trying to build on top of, like, and market themselves before they start putting things in the LCBO or in taps everywhere. It's just, they probably didn't gain any traction because their beer was crap. I mean, they came out, they had no understanding of what a Roche beer actually was. I mean, like, I thought, as soon as I heard Roche beer, I'm like, ooh, that sounds good. And then all of a sudden I got chili. What the fuck is this?
Well, I'm all for people being experimental with styles if they're actually like good.
Jamie had best brewery of 2019. For anybody who's watching and doesn't know who Sydenham was, that Sydenham Farm Ales. They were like a very short-lived upstart
Artisanal.
Ontario brewery. Yeah. Artisanal ales.
Yeah, I think
It was,
so.
I thought it was like farm ales. Anyway, so they didn't last very long. But
I
we
had no
had
idea who they were. I was just nodding
yeah,
my head,
it
pretending
was
I did.
before
You
it was
weren't-
before your time.
You weren't even born then, so
I wasn't born then. Okay.
yeah, that was like 2018. You weren't born then.
Okay. Yes.
It was
I
before
am.
it was before Carrie broke a rib. Actually, it was
I'm
the
4
night
years old.
Yeah,
years
and we're all going to prison.
Everyone Carrie broke a rib. That was funny.
Yeah.
Hey, we've all seen the GIF. His rib exploded, and it was Ewart and Nick
Yeah,
that.
from that angle, it really does look like that I elbowed him onto the
Yeah.
floor or something. Like,
Nick's just like, get out of my way.
like
The best part is that he hurt himself before that on the fucking railing. It's like double punishment.
well, it's just so weird. Like Carrie is, for those people watching who don't know what we're talking about, at the 2019 bottle share that we did.
That was the
Redbeard decided to, like, I dropped a chip on the floor so I wouldn't eat it, and then Carrie
was the well and piss up.
Well and piss up. He was making fun of me for not eating a chip that I had just dropped on the floor, like 10-second rule. So he picks the chip up and eats it, and then he fakes curling over and dying because he ate a chip off the floor. He hits the floor so hard he breaks a rib.
Well,
Like,
the funny part is it wasn't the floor that broke his rib. It was his own elbow because he landed like with his arm on the side and his elbow went into his rib, which ironically is when I fell off my bike. That's how I hurt myself. I didn't break a rib, but I bruised it.
Yeah.
So those elbows are dangerous. You got to watch out for that shit. So yeah, Carrie was. I will say Carrie was a trooper. He went through the whole beer fest.
Oh my god!
And then the next Sunday we still went to GLB and had some beers.
Like
and then
he
drove
was like
to the hospital.
He literally got through 48 hours of
Joe
being in pain and driving all the way from Niagara Falls up to North Bay. And without, it's just like he went that long. So we actually have Beer Patrol.
You want me to sing, Joe?
Comments.
All right.
Hold
All right, we got more comments.
Yeah.
Sydenham, get on that. No, Jim, we already read that. Then Dan says Jamie needs to try Snake Lakes Taco IPA. If that's a real thing, that kind of sounds interesting. Probably terrible, but interesting.
That sounds terrible.
And then best brew of 2019, as Sydenham, as we already said. Dan says, and make his own cheese chaser. Or you could just make a Swiss chalet sauce chaser down the hatch. Just like Lady Lee likes. And then both blow. And then the Beer Patrol, Joe, who's probably not in a uniform. Shame on you.
I like how you just skip comments.
What comment does that?
They didn't even read like Jamie's comment about COVID killing him.
Or the government, or both.
Okay, I'm looking. I don't have this comment on my YouTube app.
Oh, it's just I guess we have to approve
so
comments.
Jamie's got you blocked or something. I don't know.
Okay.
Or Jamie's probably being flagged on.
All right. Well, if I'm missing comments, somebody else who can see them can read them. So
if it gets flagged on YouTube, I don't see it here, so I see the. So he doesn't know how to fall like wrestlers, hence the rib break. Well, it's pretty obvious. Though he'd argue about that. Jamie says, leave a fun hole near the butt region for me for Craig.
Yeah.
Didn't Joe say he wanted me to serenade?
Greg needs a butthole hole and Gary's bubble wrap.
Wow. So hold on. Joe said back, but we missed Joe's comment. I feel like Chris is going to serenade us with a song.
I just did.
Also, next time we do a piss up, we need to wrap Carrie and bubble wrap. Both these things are true. Okay, Chris, off you go.
No, I already did it. You guys weren't paying.
I think looking at Joe's last comment here, if I drink the shit out of some chalet sauce, just don't cuvee it with beers. And I'm like, the next time you gotta make a cuvee. He's the next time we do a piss up, wherever it is, it needs to be catered by Swiss Chalet.
Okay.
Right, Craig?
I think every bottle share we've done has at some point involved Swiss Chalet.
Yes, it has.
Usually it's like we'll
Not-
go there for supper after the beer fest.
We
Or
did not
before.
have Swiss Chalet when we went to Quistemsis.
Well,
No,
that
we
was
didn't.
that was an unofficial beer fest.
It was a
Any
bottle.
beer fest with Greg and Joe, we have to go to Swiss
Yeah, I
Chalet.
think
That was
I think we
really
need
just
Joe
a
to come
trick
over
to get
Canada.
Manly out to get a little bit of a tan because he was getting too pale from
Yeah, like
2 years of
Swiss
COVID.
Chalet is where I learned that Chris was kicking me out, and I was going to Greg's for the night in my last night of the 2018 fest.
He got mad because you took a shit in his
Yes.
cat's litter box. Okay,
I didn't take a shit in your cat's litter box.
God rest her
the
soul.
fact that you're defending yourself tells me that you took a shit in his cat's litter box.
Fuck's sakes, Greg. All right. Who's up first? Sadly, it's Greg. But Greg, what do you think of this beer?
Oh no, I don't ever wanted a coffee. Oh dear God. Okay.
You're up.
Oh God. I have no thoughts.
Revenge
so
is mine.
I gotta first start off by saying I'm very disappointed in this beer because I don't love it, but it's not the worst either. I don't hate it, so I am gonna kind of probably fall a little bit in the middle on it.
Jesus Christ, Greg, you
I
failed us.
know. I know. Jesus Christ. Shh. Religious people.
It is
Don't say mean things about Jesus.
Jesus.
You all right, buddy? No, Arnold is horking something up. That's all right. Okay. I'll start by saying this should have been Imperial. Like this would be better at 10% for sure. It is kind of on the thin side. To be honest, I'm not really super familiar with Neapolitan. I know I've had it before, but I don't off the top of my head remember what it's supposed to taste like. So in that comparison,
Strawberry, chocolate.
It's
and
3 ice
vanilla.
creams in one.
the cherry is it so it's like a Black Forest cake type thing?
Oh, no cherry. Strawberry
it's
ice cream.
Neapolitan ice
Rated.
cream, which is
Oh.
Neapolitan
Vanilla
ice cream is
chocolate.
chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry ice
Okay.
cream.
Three-
So I'm not going to make my
separate.
comparison of that because I'm not ultra familiar with what it tastes like. I'm sure I've had it before, but I'm not
It tastes
ultra
like fucking
familiar.
ice cream.
This is coming from the guy that doesn't
Does.
like music.
I don't like music. I don't like sports. They both suck. They're both terrible. If you like either one, you're a terrible
Don't
person.
like sports. Meow mix, please deliver.
And he shits in the cat box again.
Oh, Jesus. Shut up.
I like both music and sports
Well,
Yeah,
and ice cream.
listen.
and ice cream.
I told you you're a terrible person. You don't believe me. It just is what it is.
I'm
Anyway.
a terrible person. Thank you.
I mean, everyone's a terrible person except maybe
Okay.
Nick. I don't know. I think Nick likes sports, so he's terrible too. So you guys are all terrible.
Fuck you, Greg.
Oh, just read the comments. Fucking Joe's hilarious.
I know. I can't wait to read some of these. Hurry up, Greg.
We're not interested in Greg's review. We're just
We'll
reading.
go to the comments after Greg's
You
review.
guys want to read the comments? I'll put my thoughts on pause.
No. Continue with your thoughts, then we'll go to comments. We'll go to me.
Keep going. Jeez, God.
Okay.
Just drag.
So, anyways, this is 100% a Dan beer. I don't know what the rest of you guys are going to give this. I'm not going to give a particular high rating. Dan would give this a 10 out of 10 all day long because it's sweet as fuck. I feel like I need to get my leg amputated after drinking half of this. I get chocolate. I actually do get some nuts. I actually do get some strawberry in it. I'm sure it's probably a fake flavoring, but hey, it works because strawberry rarely works in beer. So lactose is fuck. But this would actually be really potentially really good if it was imperial because it would have the body to back up the sweetness because as it is now, it's so thin but so sugary at the same time. So as a flavored stout, and that's such a weird category because flavored stout can be anywhere from amazing coffee flavor to stupid peanut
Ice
butter
cream flavored?
stouts. Yeah, kind of. So on the broad range of spectrum of flavored stouts, I'm gonna give this it is a dessert stout, so it's supposed to be sweet. I don't love sweet beers, so I'm gonna go with a 6.5 out of 10. Sort of on the low end of good range in my scale. I think it kind of hits where it wants to hit. I don't know if it quite works for me in a flavored stout, but for some people that like dessert beers, I definitely think somebody that likes sweeter beers like Dan would really like this.
Are there little particle thingies in your beer?
I don't
Oh, no, can't see.
I don't see any through it. It's a pretty clear beer. Sorry, it's a pretty dark beer, so I can't really see any. For my own personal enjoyment, it is going to be a. I really can't go any higher than about 5.5. And again, I'm trying to be generous with this beer because I actually don't think it's a bad beer. It's just not for me. It's just not the kind of beer I would ever gravitate towards. Like if I came to your house and Chris is like, Greg, for the orgy, what kind of beer do you want? And I'd be like, what do you got, Chris? And he just said, this is the only thing I have. I'd be like, I'll drink it. I'm not going to be happy about it. Next time, Chris, do better. But it's still better than Coors Light. So I kind of hope Chris has this instead of Coors Light. So there we go. That's where I'm at. 6.5, 5.5. I don't love it, but I also don't hate it as much as I was kind of hoping I'd hate it. So
there you go.
Wow. The scores are gonna break. All right. Thank you, Greg. Let's go over to Mr. Chris.
All right. Like I said, I've had this before and I actually don't like it as much as I did before. And I think I know why. It's because when I drank this before, I physicsed it and it was better in the physics because it did have that bigger body to match the sweetness, as Greg would say. When I reviewed it before, it had a little bit more strawberry to it. This one is not, as the strawberries faded right off the thing now. Maybe I had the strawberry right at the very beginning, but it's faded off. It is super thin. Like I said, when I did this one, I physicsed it and it made the body better and it kept the head around too. I don't know. It's a pastry stout, I guess, or an ice cream stout. It's a fucking milk stout is basically what it is with some flavoring in it. So for what that is trying to do, I'll give it a straight up 7 out of 10 for the style. It's nailing it on the head pretty much for what they want. I kind of wish that it did have a bigger body. It should be Imperial for sure, 100%. Even Joe said that in the comments, and when I did the review on it, he goes, it totally needed to be an Imperial, over 10% for sure. And personal preference, like I said, it's not as good as I had it the first time. Having it again now, I don't know. I'm going to say about a 6 out of 10. I don't think I'd buy this one again, even though I did buy 2 of them thinking I might enjoy it again. But, well, I got one for later. Maybe I'll have it later. I don't know. I'm deciding. Maybe I'll give it away for Christmas. But, yeah. So, yeah. You got my scores?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. 6. Yep, you got it. All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Chris.
Okay.
All right. Now, Lately, your turn.
Okay. Oh no. I have to turn my flashlight on. I'm gonna try to do this, but you can there you go. You can see the particles in it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's definitely some chunks in your beer.
Is that that much?
Mine has a bunch. I don't know if anybody else has any.
Yeah, no. So I'm looking at my beer and it's almost done, and there is absolutely no chunks in it. So
holy fuck!
Do yours have a bunch?
Oh, does Nick have chunks?
Come on, stop focusing on my face, you piece of shit. All right, so it's like as soon as you look at it, like holy shit, it's like confetti in there.
Anyway, so it looks like we've got another fucking Sparkle Puff situation here.
Well, you can't see it because of all the fucking everything.
Yeah, but I'm looking at mine through light, and I don't have any, so it's definitely like some have it, some don't.
Greg, let the woman. I know you're not.
We're good. We're good. We're just talking about the particles. We're good. Yeah. So I think it might possibly be because LCBO likes to keep their craft beers on a shelf. Because I found this one on the shelf, so I always consider that an issue. I just think whatever's wrong with it is because they like to keep stuff on a shelf. Like that's it. That's my complaint. So I am not a big fan of dark beers in general. So every time I review these, I always feel like I'm always giving an unfair disadvantage towards them because I'm just not a fan. Just not a fan.
It's just your baby palate. It's fine.
No, thanks. It is true though. Like I don't drink it that much. Yeah. Anyways, I can taste like the little bits of strawberry. I can taste a little bit of chocolate. I can taste a little bit of vanilla. Like it's very, very light tasting. So it is sweet. I see what Greg means. So if you're not a person who likes sweet beers, you wouldn't like this because it is it is sweet. Like it is. It kind of surprised me at first because I was like, oh, this is like not too bad. Like I don't usually like stouts, but this is a little bit sweeter, so I'm enjoying it more. But I'm also still not enjoying it. Um. Uh. Ooh, I have a kitty.
Kitty.
Whoa.
That is
Nice
Sid.
pussy. Wow.
Hello, Sid.
Yeah, we have a third cat that moved in, so she feels very displaced right now because she was living in the spare bedroom, and
Not safe for work.
somebody is living in that room. So, anyways, back to the beer. So I agree with this being a little bit
Sweet.
thin. Like it's sweet, and I agree with it being a little bit thin as well. Like it doesn't for a stout. Usually when I have it, I think it has that like thicker taste to it. But the more like the mouth feel, I don't know, it just doesn't feel like a normal stout. So it does feel a little not as stouty as it could be. So I for um for style, I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna say 6.5 because there is a flavor in there. It's not that dominant. It's still there, just like in the background, but it is very sweet, and it is a little bit thin. I got a cat butt. It's great.
Yeah.
You're
Wow.
great, Sid. Thanks.
Now Nick has to take the chat or the video down.
Because
Anyway.
Lily's pussy.
And
Whoa, Nick.
pussy cat.
Hey, I like cat. I like cats.
And now personal
You like
preference.
cat boxes, Nick.
I'm
Oh, jeez.
not cat box flying in a magic carpet.
Personal preference. I'm gonna go for a 6 because you know what, that
Wow.
sweetness is kind of taking over. Like it does just taste sweet. Like it just kind of gets a little bit overpowering after a while. Like after you take a few sips, you're like, okay, yeah, it kind of tastes like sugar. So yeah, that is my review.
There you go.
All right. Thank you, Lily. And now, where'd my mouse go? And now I have to follow all that up. And I kind of wonder, like, maybe there is some credence to the LCBO aging project or keeping it on the shelf, and maybe it shouldn't have been. Because, I mean, I like this beer. Like, and maybe I've got, like, different expectations coming out of this because, like, it's a milk stout. So I kind of automatically assume it's going to be a little sweeter and maybe a little thinner than your typical stout. And what I do get it from is it's a decent milk stout. It's not the best milk stout. Like it kind of loses a few marks from for the on the style in the sense that this is a milk stout. Okay, well it's not the best milk stout, but base. But when I get the flavors, I get the strawberry, I get the chocolate, I get the vanilla, and it tastes like fucking an ice cream. I like Jesus, it really does taste like Neapolitan ice cream. This beer doesn't lie. It does what it says it does. It like as far as I'm concerned, I get that nice little bit of tartness from the strawberry. I'm getting like the creaminess from the vanilla, a nice little lingering chocolate in the back, a little roasted like chocolate and maybe a hint of coffee from the stout. A little lingering sweetness from the. I mean, it basically hits all the marks that I would expect it would for the style of beer, like an ice cream stout. It does kind of taste like it's a gimmick beer for sure, but at the same time, it does taste like it's what it says it's supposed to. So it kind of loses a couple marks for I mean, not the best milk stout, but it goes right back up in the sense that the flavor profile spot on. So my thoughts on this one here is that I'm going to give it an 8 for the style because I think it matches up, and for overall enjoyment, I'm enjoying this. Like
That's good.
I'm getting the same amount of crud that Lady Lee was getting at the bottom of her glass, but as you can see, I
Brutus.
had to wait and drink the last little bit right here at the end.
I have
Otherwise
drank
I'd
this
run out.
And that's all.
And
she's
you know
gonna
me,
drink.
like I'm not crazy about milk stouts in general because, well, lactose doesn't necessarily agree with me. But this one's definitely worth trying for me because I like it. So 7.5 for overall enjoyment. I do really enjoy this. So it's kind of like, okay, maybe the LCBO doesn't treat it well, and it's always been refrigerated at least over at the NB Liquor. So, or maybe I've got a fresher can here because mine says L22 is an L production code like October, November, or something like
Let's
that.
have a
So
look.
I have L22 as well.
okay, so
22.
yeah. Oh,
I have
L22
L22 as well.
But like I said, I'm not a big stout person, so you're talking to somebody who doesn't even
Oh
like
yeah,
stout.
yeah, no, for sure.
So
Yeah, but I like it because despite it being a gimmick beer, it tastes like exactly like it says.
I mean, L should be November, so it should be ultra fresh. If the date code is the way we're reading it, it should be ultra fresh.
It's actually last November, and that
might be a best
tartness.
before.
The tartness from the strawberry is not. Actually,
I mean, Nick, that could actually be a best before date. A lot of breweries are doing that shit where it's best before a year from now.
I mean, I wrote down my ratings before anybody else gave their ratings, and I actually had to. I'm looking at my ratings, and like everybody else is giving them lower stuff. I'm like, do I really want to change mine or not? I'm like, no, fuck.
not really. That's your own personal opinion.
Yeah, I like it. That's my own opinion.
If you like
Moo,
it, you
hashtag
like it.
MOO.
Usually it's Greg who like takes it drastically. Anyway.
What, Chris? You're not using it anymore.
That's true.
All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for it. I'm gonna put myself. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna put Greg up because he's
All right,
gonna read
lots
some
of
comments while I do the math.
I'll read all the comments I can see, but I can't help it if I'm missing any that I can't see.
I'll let you know if you're missing any.
All right,
Greg,
let's see. I'm just trying to figure out where we were at. Chris is going to serenade us. Cuvée. Okay. The Edmonton Piss Up by Dan. And then Beer Patrol says chalet sauce makes everything better except the beers it's cuvée with. And then Mr. Jamie says, I guarantee I show up next week if Joe does. Challenge accepted. Joe, come on, show up, buddy. Your heart
Joe, you might want to show up for next week's beer.
Come on, Joe.
Just
we
saying.
get Jamie guaranteed if you show up. I won't even comment that you won't wear a uniform because I know you won't. Just show up in your regular old street clothes. We know you're an undercover cop.
Greg, he just commented he's going to wear a uniform.
Oh God, I take everything back I just said. Oh my God, please wear a uniform. Oh God, oh my boner. Anyways,
oh my boner.
There we go. Where are we at? Nick. Oh, so okay. Then the Beer Patrol said, now this is very important. Nick totally shat in the cat's litter box. It's fact. So thank you, Joe, for an authority figure has now corroborated my story. So thank you.
Fuck you, Joe.
Wow. He also goes on to say, Jamie's all, hey, if you want me to take a dump in the box and mark it guaranteed, I will. I got spare time. I mean, maybe. And then Jamie agrees and says exactly. Vincent Fournier, aka Radar, says that is not true. If Nick did that, there'd be nothing left of the litter, the house, the town, and more likely the shift of the Earth's magnetic field. So
fuck off, Radar.
Vincent's actually defending you and saying you didn't shit in the litter box. So come on, Nick, he's on your side. Don't burn bridges.
Yeah, and then he goes on about how big my shits are, which is
well. Anyways, Joe says, how the fuck does Greg?
I might be fat, but I'm nice shit just like everyone else.
Yeah, you make big fat shits.
I don't eat more food than anyone else.
We all take fat shits, Nick. So are you saying you're better than us, or you're little skinny shits?
There's a difference between being actually fat and having a fat shit. Fat shit just means you're holding it in too long and eating too many vegetables.
It's the skinny fuckers that take fat shits because that's why they're not fat. They shit it all out. And anyways, Joe. So now Joe's going to insult me a little bit. So you'll like this, Nick. How the fuck does Greg not know about what Neapolitan ice cream is? Holy balls! Get him out of here. Meanwhile, he'll tell you all about the new winter coat releases. For fuck's sakes, that's accurate. That's 100% accurate. Yes. Yeah.
He's not a sweets guy.
Then put Greg's thoughts on pause, but not just on this stream forever. It's for the best. I think Joe was just telling you to kill me, Nick. And
dun, dun, dun.
Listen, I'm at least I'm good for one thing, and that's showing up every Wednesday. So it's in Nick's best favor to not kill me yet. When the show's over, he has no use for me.
Joe, you can only murder Greg if you show up in a uniform.
Oh,
Then Greg will let it happen.
Listen, as soon as my wife's asleep, I'm going
this
to
is a look on Greg's face. He's like,
anyways, Radar says the shoe industry would be crippled. Fun fact: I don't buy very many shoes. I only bought one pair of shoes this year, and
it's like Greg doesn't buy many shoes, just like I don't take many shits.
That's well. There we go. There we go. I'm glad we made that comparison. Then Joe says LCBO aged equals beautiful particles suspended in animation. This is accurate. He also goes on to say, give Nick a kitty litter flavored stout, and it's a 10 out of 10. To which Chris says, no, it's a 3.75, which is a perfect beer for Nick.
Oh, fuck off.
And then we just got Jamie saying, hear raspy voice lech at one. Oh, he's giving a number at 11976 beer tube. Okay, I'm assuming that's $2.99 a minute, but it's money well spent.
Only $5.99 a minute.
I'll talk this raspy voice all night long.
Yeah. All right, so there we go.
Who is that fella?
Santa?
Santa from the north is drinking an ice cream stout, and he gave it a 7.0 for style and an overall of 6.3.
You'd think for a man that hoops candy canes would like this a little more. And I'm not talking about Santa. I'm talking about Dan. Danta.
Alrighty, so I hear the magic question has been asked.
Yes, it has.
It has by Danta.
Who's the most recent person to ask us? And here's what I mean by Joe. You might actually want to be on next week's episode because you could be in a beer. It could be something that's inspired by you because next week's beer is going to be a BYOB, and it's going to be a motherfucking 10, motherfuckers. It's going to be any beer over 10% ABV. So it's going to be a fucking 10.
Can I just say that I would love Joe to show up just so I can confirm he's alive? As far as I'm concerned, he's been pre-filming all his beer reviews before his heart surgery, and he died on the operating table.
And he's commenting.
We need proof.
That's his dad, because Joe's dad is way cooler than Joe is.
We haven't seen Joe.
So there we go. The gauntlet is down. Joe, if you show up next week, Jamie will have to show up, and it'll be epic. And it's a plus 10% beer, guys. Come on. Joe, I know you have some 10% beers.
Look at Joe's last comment.
Hashtag
Joe, it's a motherfucking 10.
Joe, listen. I'll give you some health advice because I'm a doctor, at least I pretend to be. But if you pour the beer, put an ice cube in it. Now it's no longer 10%. There you go.
How about you have like 10 1% beers? That equals, right?
Oh, Nick is just getting plastered tonight.
Hi, Joe. See you next week from Jamie. That's funny. Is that a barley wine?
That is the Faxed barley wine from Trailway that I posted a review of. I actually did a beer review.
Oh, this is your second one now?
Yeah, this is my second can.
Oh, you're getting fucked up now. I thought Greg was
I'm gonna throw this out there. Joe, because of your health issues, legitimately, if you can't have a 10% beer, bring whatever the highest percentage beer that you can drink safely for your health.
Me and 7, Joe, on yes.
Or just open one and cork it later.
If it's a 4% beer, if that's the most you can drink, there you go. That's it. But at least make it like some, I don't know, stout or something.
No, Dusty Joe can drink some double IPA or even some triple IPA. So I'm pretty sure that he can drink stout.
So you're saying
I just want to take away all the barriers on Joe. So if Joe doesn't show up next week, Joe can't fall back on, oh, Nick is trying to kill me. Listen, I pretend to be a doctor so you can take my advice. There's nothing wrong with that.
Drop some vodka in that chalet sauce.
I could drink some chalet sauce. It's thick like an imperial stout.
I mean, it
should be a 10% ABV chalet sauce.
I did
chalet sauce is gross. I have spoken.
I did drink some on ice lately, and it is very thick.
It's fucking
coats your throat.
disgusting. Disgusting. My chalet sauce at Swiss Chalet is hot chicken wing sauce. That's what I dip my stuff in, not the chalet sauce. It's gross. My own opinion.
I don't actually use the chalet sauce, but I'll usually put it on the dog's food for the next day or something. I only use it when I want to make funny videos.
I can't remember the last time I ate at Swiss Chalet.
I eat Swiss Chalet.
I bet you Joe can't remember the last time he ate at Swiss Chalet.
My wife's fucking obsessed with Swiss Chalet.
Unless you snuck over here without telling me. I doubt it.
I like Swiss Chalet or pizza. I'm like, well, I don't want any more pizza, so Swiss Chalet it is.
I like Swiss Chalet.
We have sausage gravy at work, and now I'm obsessed. It's so good.
Ooh,
I just eat all of it. And mashed potatoes.
Would it be inappropriate for me to offer you some sausage gravy?
I do not want your sausage gravy. I just want Lou Dog sausage gravy.
Well, what if Lou Dog and I mixed our sausage gravy together? Would you be interested in that cuvee?
I really just want Lou Dog's sausage gravy.
Wow.
Thank you.
All right. I think it's high time we take it off. So I want to thank Joe especially and Jamie in the chat. Oh, Joe says it's been way before.
Yep.
But I can buy the chalet sauce packets off Amazon. Literally tastes like the one in the restaurant.
There you go.
Yeah, you just add water to it. It's kind of the same because that's probably how they make it in the restaurant.
Yeah. It's
Well,
Hey,
if
Joe,
we're being honest, that's all it is. Yeah.
Joe, are you drinking anything right now? Any beers? Did you do any reviews or anything like that? Because we're probably going to do an after chat if you want to come join us.
If you're alive.
If you're alive and you're well enough to join the after chat, we'd love to have you. Speaking of which, I got to take this thing offline because I got to piss real hard. All right, so all right, so thank you, Greg, Chris, Lady Lee. I want to thank Joe, Jamie, and
sausage gravy.
Oh yeah, and Dan.
Love sausage gravy.
So enjoy the sauce. Yeah, enjoy the sausage gravy. Says he works like every single week, Monday, Friday, 3:30. So he's watching while he's at work.
Joe, you're literally like a heart surgery survivor. You can take a sick day.
See, I look at that and I say you're making excuses for not showing up on the weekend. Mm-hmm. All right, so let's go tune out, and we'll get the gauntlet thrown down. We'll have a good night, folks. We'll chat with you guys later. Cheers.
Cheers, mofos.